What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to talk about Amazon's IP Accelerator program and how to do it, and how to get your company brand registered, get your trademark brand registered. It is a great resource for new sellers, and absolutely someone that is launching on Amazon has to do is to get brand registered. I personally use IP Accelerator program, so I'm going to walk you through step by step on how I did it and some of the best practices. But before we get into that, I want to show you exactly what the benefits of being brand registered actually is. There's really three main benefits, right? You want to get brand registered before you get access to Amazon or before you launch for these three things. Number one, you want to have access to a brand store. Now, a brand store is, what you see in what they call the byline, where shoppers can sort of see exactly what your brand is about. Super important from a brand building perspective. The second thing you want to do and want to receive when you get brand registered is A+ content. This is the content that's below the fold on your detail page. So you see here, you get access to enhanced brand content. You get access to A+ content. This is super important as it increases the conversion rate and the likelihood of a shopper buying your product. And so you do not get access to this stuff if you are not brand registered. The last thing that you get that's really important as well is you get access to sponsor brand ads. These are the ads top of the fold. You can leverage videos in these assets. Really important ad placement. So to recap, the three reasons why you want to be brand registered, at least the most important reasons: you want the brand store, number one. Number two, you want the A+ content. Number three, you want access to the sponsor brand ads that you see in the search results here. So you can only get that if you're brand registered. Now, Amazon released this new program called the IP Accelerator program. This is a resource that I use personally. It's really easy. What it allows you to do is access their list, Amazon's list of vetted sort of attorneys as well as legal firms that specialize in getting you brand registered really quickly. The difference between using IP Accelerator and just registering for your trademark separately is if you go through a firm through IP Accelerator and you just submit your trademark, you get access to all the brand registry products and services, even though your trademark has not been approved, which typically takes up to a year. So really nice way to sort of skirt the system, I guess, for lack of a better word, or expedite the process to get brand registered. One of the last things that I didn't mention in terms of why you want to be brand registered is dealing with counterfeits or sellers that potentially are stealing your brand or attempting to commit fraud on your brand. Super important to be brand registered. You get access to a lot of tools to prevent other sellers from hijacking your brand and things like that. So let's just go through the IP Accelerator process, what it actually means. I'm actually going to go through it exactly how I did it and teach you sort of what my learnings were. So, here in the IP Accelerator Service Provider Network, you have a list of legal firms that you can choose from. Pretty easy. Here's Idea Legal. I use them. You contact the provider and you click trademark and show what you're looking for. Pretty easy process. And then you'll get an email from them asking what services that you want. Now, the key point and the key thing you need to understand is when you register for a trademark through the IP Accelerator program, there's two separate cost, fees, and structures that you need to be aware of: the filing and then the search process. So as a new brand, when you are thinking about getting brand registered, you need to file with the trademark office. That is a fee, number one. Number two is you can either search the database system yourself for trademarks that exist, or you can pay someone to do that for you. I did both. So what does that actually mean? So if you were to hire someone to search the trademark database system to see if your brand name exists in the marketplace already, they would essentially scour this trademark site right here, and we're going to use Naked Feast. This is my brand. They would scour all of this data for you and identify the current companies out there that may give you issues when it comes to getting your trademark approved. Now, this is really important, right? Because if you have another company that, say your brand name is Delta Airlines, you're not going to get that trademark approved because Delta Airlines exists already. So a lot of people hire attorneys and legal firms to do that scrub for you. So you can submit a trademark for Delta Airlines on your own. Right now, you could do it. It's not illegal, but the likelihood of that getting approved by the trademark office is pretty much zero. So it eliminates this friction that you may have where you submit a trademark and you're not sure if it's going to get approved. The legal firm handles all of that for you, and they will identify the likelihood of it being not approved. So with that being said, let's go through exactly what the report would look like from a legal firm and what they give you. So I'm going to give you an example right here. This brand name that we initially were thinking about was called Porto. It's a body wash company, cosmetic company. We sell soap. So Porto was a name that we were considering. Now, when you think about why your trademark is going to get approved or not, there's really, it comes down to this concept of likelihood of confusion. So first, they look at the similarity of the marks. Now, again, I'm just going to go through an exact detail or an exact bullet point example that this legal firm gave me. So in the example they use here, if you wanted to name your brand Crazy Chicken to sell pet toys, it would highly likely not be approved because, there are other brand names that have similar marks. So Crazy Chicken with the 8 here, Crazy Chicken here, all caps. The logo says Crazy Chicken, Pollo Loco in Spanish. So what they're saying is, because Crazy Chicken, your hypothetical brand, that's the brand name that you want, because there are other brands out there or companies that have this name, it's very likely it's not going to get approved. The second thing they're going to look for is the similarity of the goods and services. They want to look at goods sold by the other company and that are similar to your goods. The goods do not need to be identical or even competitive to find likelihood of confusion. So that obviously limits the ability for you to name your company a lot of different things. So we're just going to go through a specific example. And again, we sell body wash, right? And the brand name we wanted to understand if there was another company out there was called Porto. So Porto, now this is all taken from this trademark database. This is public information. Now, Porto was the initial name, and the legal firm highlighted potential companies out there that could be an issue that already have the trademark. So this name Claus Porto was potentially or is potentially a problem because they sell soaps for personal use, candles, bath salts, shampoos. So there's a potential for that to be an issue for us. Here we go again. It's the same sort of company. Here's another example of Porto Noir, right? And so it's hair care products. So maybe we could slip by because we sell body wash. Porto right here, just Porto, men's clothing. So although it sells men's clothing, which is not in the same sort of category as us, the name is just Porto. So there's a likelihood of potentially of confusion. So a lot of different, electrical lighting fixtures, things like that. So they highlight all of this for you. Now, this is what a legal firm found for us. That costs about $500 to $1,000 just to do a search. Now, they use all sorts of software, databases, saves you really a lot of time. Now, that is totally an option for you to do. If you're more on a budget, what I did and what I recommend is actually doing the trademark search yourself. So let's just go through this trademark database. You could search PTO in Google and then find this trademark database and click search. So let's just do Porto, and we're a body wash, right? So as you can see here, a lot of the same names that were on this report. Porto, things like that. It looks like they sell bath gel, so that's going to be an issue. And you see the full list here. There's 50 per page. There's about 8 right now, right? And so you may want to expand this to cosmetics, gel, soap, anything that could come up related to this. And so this obviously expands your available companies that could surface to a lot of different brands. So really cumbersome process, really. So when you think about if you're on a budget and you're starting a new brand, you may want to look at doing this yourself. It is not that difficult. What I would recommend doing is if your brand name is Naked Feast, like ours, and what's your primary line of selling, right? Say it's body wash, soap, gel. You're going to find, and I would go through this and find and label each single brand that could be an issue for you. If you really don't see anything, then I would recommend paying the $500 to a legal firm to just double check, because the last thing you want to do is submit a trademark application and then it doesn't get approved. So do a quick check, because theoretically you could have them search 20 different names, and that's $500 each time they search it. So I would pre-vet it yourself. And if you don't really find anything, it's a good opportunity to then hire a firm to do the $500 search, to do a double check. Of course, you don't have to do that. You could just go straight into telling them to file the trademark. But you see here, Naked Feast, this is actually ours right here. But you go through and you don't really see anyone. Naked Earth, Near Naked, Buck Naked, Use When Naked. So not really the same as Naked Feast, right? Which is the name of our brand, Naked Peach. The word naked, because it's so general and broadly used, you can use it in a whole bunch of different ways, right? It would be a problem if we try to name our brand Naked Bar, right? And it sold body care products, but it's Naked Feast. So all of these things are consideration as you start your brand. And it's really important to understand the process. Now, say you've done your research and you feel comfortable with this brand name. You don't really see any potential issues, likelihood of confusion. Remember, it's the similarity of the marks and the similar goods and services that they sell. So if Naked Feast, if that person sold, or that company sold airplanes, would not be an issue. If it sold shampoo, that could be an issue. So once you're comfortable with that and you decide to file the trademark, then that cost structure is generally about $1,000 to $2,000 to file your trademark. Now again, once you file your trademark, immediately Amazon will give you access to brand registry, and you just sign up. The legal firm gives you a reference number that you include in your brand registry. You get registered, and then you get access to all those tools even before the trademark is approved. Once your trademark is approved, it took us about a year to get the official statement from the trademark office, and then the legal firm actually gives you updates and things like that. So I would say all in, generally speaking, there's 3 main takeaways from this. The total cost, if you decide to do it yourself in a hybrid form and then have a legal firm file the trademark for you, it's anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. You could definitely do it. If you want to file the trademark yourself, I don't really know what that costs. I imagine it's a little bit complicated, but the search part of it is not that complicated. So I would budget around $1,000 to $2,000 for the whole trademark process. The second thing is you get access to all the critical tools you need to launch. You do not want to launch without A+ content, your brand store, and sponsored brand ads. And then obviously the last important detail of why you want to potentially use the IP Accelerator program is you get access to this a year early, and you can fight counterfeit brands and sellers and fraud on your brand. So anyways, hopefully this video was super helpful in my experience on how to do or how to use the IP Accelerator program. I'm a big fan and highly recommend for new brands to leverage and use as you start your journey on Amazon. Thanks, guys.